Well, hi, everyone. Thank you, Senator Murray, for inviting me here this afternoon. And first of all, I want to applaud Secretary McDonough's leadership here and thank President Biden for this decision. The question that I have is, when is it that American women have the right to bodily autonomy? Apparently, I had the right to decide to use my body to fight wars for this country. It was okay for me to decide to use my body to fly a helicopter into combat, where it was also okay for me to lose my legs, parts of my body, in defense of this great nation. In fact, people thank me for my service because I made that decision about my body. When I went into Iraq, it was so early in the war that we didn't have the logistics set up. In fact, we were still living in tents and had no shower facilities and no personal hygiene facilities other than the wet wipes that we would get in care packages. And so as we were headed in country, I was issued by the medical department, by Army doctors, birth control patches so that I could control my menstrual cycles, because for the first 2 months that I was downrange, there wasn't going to be sanitary, women's sanitary support. And so here, just skip your period for 2 months because we're not going to be able to get you tampons and pads and all of that, but you need to fly these missions. And I was happy to do it. So it was okay for me to, and for the Army to provide me with what I needed to control my reproductive cycle when it was to the Army's benefit, for the good of the Army, for the good of the country. And I was proud of that. And I absolutely supported that decision because I wanted to keep flying my missions. But at what point in time did I lose the ability to make decisions over my own body? When did that happen? When it was no longer convenient for those who are being guided by religious ideals? Is that when it is? Because I defended their right to those religious ideals. And our military women often move every 2 years for their service, and they end up in places where they didn't choose to be assigned and to a state that has very, very restrictive reproductive rights laws. And many of them, when they retire, they stay in those communities because they go into a civilian job with the same military base where they served in uniform. And so they stay there. And they give up their own rights to bodily autonomy as a result of serving this country. Yet, all throughout their service, we applaud them for making decisions for what they did with their bodies to protect and defend us. So yeah, I'm really proud that the VA made this decision. I'm really proud that our female veterans are going to be able to get something that's very basic and fundamental to a human being, which is the ability to access a medical procedure that will save your life. And many of our military women are victims of military sexual trauma. So I am proud that the VA is making this decision so that our veterans who are victims of rape and incest can access abortions. There's so much that we should be fighting about on a global scale. Russia's invasion of the Ukraine. We should be focusing on looking at our near-peer competitors. And yet here in the United States, we're arguing whether or not military women should have the right to access abortion and have access to make decisions about their own reproductive health care, when their entire military career we felt it was just fine for us as a nation to make decisions and to use their bodies to defend us. Come on, folks. We're better than that. And so thank you, Secretary McDonough. Thank you, President Biden, for this decision. I am proud that we are going to get the health care to our female veterans that they desperately need, and that they should not be limited by what part of the country they happen to be living in, that they should have full access and full control over their bodies, the way they did when they were carrying rucksacks and M4s and setting up forward operating bases to protect and defend us. Thank you.